So I thought I would come in here. I'm asking everybody to introduce themselves, and it's my little sandbox. So I thought it might be nice if I introduced myself and did so in a little more of a long form, and so you can get to know me a little bit and decide whether or not you want to be here. I think that's real important. Now, some of you already know me pretty darn well. I mean, I've got some clients, current clients and past clients that are joining this group, which makes me really happy. Oh my gosh, I'm like suddenly nervous, which makes me really happy. So you know me pretty well, but I thought I would introduce myself officially, very professionally, as professional as one can do in a Red Sox t-shirt. But I'd introduce myself, tell you a little bit about me, and give you a little more insight into me than you might know. And hopefully you'll learn something new, except for maybe Meredith, who's married to me for 21 years. So, first of all, my name is Jennie Mustafa-Julak, and I never asked anybody to call me that. I just go by Coach Jennie, which took a little doing. I have to tell you, when I decided to start calling myself Coach Jennie, it felt very odd. I named myself that as a brand, but I never in my wildest dreams thought people would say aloud, "Hey, Coach Jennie," as though that was my name. But I've been doing that for, I've been going by Coach Jennie for running on 8 years, and I'm pretty used to it now. That said, my business has been in place since 2006, so I'm about to celebrate 12 years in business come September, and I'm very proud of that. I have been coaching people on lots of different things over the years, but what I'm known for now and what I focus on now is working with solopreneurs on their inner critic. That voice in their head who tells them they suck, that, as you all know, I call Hilda. Part of me. So, I don't know why, but I feel a little bit emotional today. I had this incredible day of coaching. Like, it's just been breakthrough after breakthrough after breakthrough with my clients today, and that's pretty full given it's only 1:30 in the afternoon here. Pretty full morning. And I realized that you might not know what it is I do. So I'd love to explain that a little bit so you get a sense of it and decide for yourself whether or not it is of interest. So it's easy to give you kind of the one-liner that I work with solopreneurs to kick Hilda's butt, but that doesn't at all do it justice. Really what my nerdery is about is helping understand Hilda inside and out, every different way imaginable that we can figure out why this voice in our head is so affecting. Why is she effective? Why is she able to keep us in our place and get us second guessing ourselves and doubting ourselves and questioning everything that we want to do? And why is that voice so pervasive? I am endlessly fascinated in trying to understand that, because I have had and still have major struggles with this voice in my head for so many different reasons. And every time we unlock another level to this, another layer, and that we is intentional, I really believe that I'm learning about this work as I co-create it with the people I work with. As we unlock another level and another piece of that story, I feel more and more empowered to teach that story, which is very exciting to me. Oh, my TV turned off. So, I'm all over the place. I guess, here's where it all kind of comes from. And I think this is why I'm a little emotional. When I started my business in 2006, I was 30 years old. Don't do the math. And at 30 years old, I realized that I was screwed. See, I'd spent my entire upbringing trying to break out of the mold and try to break out of what I was supposed to do as a member of the Julak family. We grew up really, really poor, and really, there wasn't a whole lot of education in my family. I'm trying to be politically correct, I guess. And it was a tough upbringing. And then you layer on the fact that I was a closeted lesbian, and it was exceptionally challenging growing up. And I think all of us have that kind of story where everybody has their own exceptionally challenging grow up story. But for me, my goal, my dream was to break the cycle. I was going to be the first one in my family, and I was, to graduate from high school. And then I was going to be the first one in my family to go on to college and succeed in college. And then the first one in my family to go on to graduate school. And I did all of those things, right? I worked my tail off. It took me 6 years to get my undergrad degree because of farting around in community college at first, but I finally got my shit together and finished my degree, went on to graduate school. I did everything you're supposed to. Like, I did everything right. I did everything as well as could be expected. And it was impressive because I came from this poor background with family members who didn't get me and didn't understand me. And so I felt so proud of the fact that I had kind of followed all the rules and gotten all the A's and forwarded my education. And I am grateful for that. Don't get it twisted. I'm not trying to put that down at all. But when I finished, then what? You know what I mean? Like, so much of my life was about just breaking out and getting out of what I had, that I was working so hard to escape hell that I hadn't actually figured out what heaven I wanted to chase. So I kind of fell into things. I did my undergrad was in deaf history. Yes, my degree is in deaf history. You ever want to nerd out about Helen Keller, I'm your girl. And random, I know. And then I went on to my master's degree in public administration and organizational development, very, very nerdy governmental things, where I was going to be this training and development person in the government for 30, 40 years. Then I would retire and become a coach. That was the plan, right? That's as planned as I could kind of get it. And I was fascinated by all things org development, specifically coaching and facilitation. But, people in 2006 did not become coaches at 30 years old. They became coaches at 65 years old after they had entire careers and kind of proven themselves. But I got to my 30th birthday and I was looking around and I was so depressed. I was just so upset. I had, again, done everything I was supposed to. I had impressed everybody. I had proven everybody wrong that didn't believe in me. And I had made everybody proud of me that still loved me. And I'd done all the right things and I was miserable. Like Sunday night, I would get that rock in your stomach, that pit of your stomach of like, oh my gosh, that Sunday night pit of I've got another week of this job ahead of me. I got that crap Saturday morning. I hated everything I was doing. I was this fancy pants government consultant and I had to put on the fancy suit and the fancy heels. And yes, I got to work at the Pentagon, at the National Institutes of Health and the Department of Labor. And I even did a short stint working for Congress. I got to do all these very important shiny things that sounded really good at a cocktail party. But I hated every second of it. It was misery. And that was terrifying at 30 years old because I thought, now what? I don't know what I want, but I know it ain't this. I know that I didn't do all of this and follow all the rules and get all the A's and do all the things to end up miserable and doing this and leading a life that somebody else thought was impressive, but that I thought was demoralizing and painful. And quite frankly, the idea that most of my job was to convince somebody to pay me a lot of money out of taxpayer dollars to keep me in these fancy heels walking around the Pentagon just was not going to cut it. So I knew I wanted to do something important. I knew I wanted my work and whatever my work was to be an expression of making a difference. And so that's why I gravitated toward the federal government. I was going to be, I'm a patriotic kind of gal. I was going to do that. And at 30, when I realized I was miserable, I also realized I wasn't alone. And I was looking around and a lot of my friends were experiencing this, right? I don't know what it is I want, but I know it's not this. Like this, what I've just spent my entire 20s building and toiling through to get past the entry level stage. I'm looking up the corporate ladder and I'm sick about the next rung, let alone 6 rungs. And I realized that something had to be done. So I decided to hang out my shingle and make it happen. Now, I will be honest, like many, many, many entrepreneurs, the story of what kickstarted that for me was I was forced into it to some degree. I don't know about you, and I have no idea if this statistic is real, but it feels to me like 8 out of 10 entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, become solopreneurs because they've lost their job. And I was in a position between contracts and got laid off. I got this tiny little pathetic severance that kept me alive for 6 weeks. And I decided instead of getting another consulting job and staying in this world that I hated, I was going to hang out a shingle as a coach. And I couldn't afford to go from my fancy pants salary to nothing. We were living in Boston at the time. It was kind of expensive to live there. So I had to go get a job. And I went and got a job at the Container Store. So the Container Store, I was going to work there 1 year full-time, worked there 3 years full-time, 4 years part-time, while I got my business up and running. And I'm so grateful for that experience. But at the time, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so painful. I would get a coaching client and be helping them. And I was doing, kind of pure life coaching at the time. So I felt like I was changing lives. I was making a difference. And I would help a client on my lunch hour run back into the Container Store and put on a big blue apron, go up to the register and ask people if they want their meaningless empty box in a plastic bag or not. It was very humbling, to say the least. It was tough. It was really, really tough to figure out, how am I going to make this business take off when I'm still doing this kind of work? And that first year, I beat the crap out of myself because I heard so many gurus say, well, if you just follow this method, and this is the launch method, then poof, you'll have $10,000 every single month for the rest of your life. Pish posh, so easy. That was not my experience, not by a landslide. And a big part of the reason that wasn't my experience wasn't necessarily that the methods were flawed. It was that I didn't believe in myself. It was that Hilda was getting really, really loud and telling me, well, if you couldn't cut it in consulting, you're never going to cut it on your own. You're never going to make this happen. It's pretty tough to hear. So, I persevered and I kept going, and 1 year turned into 3. And after 3 years, Meredith and I decided to move to New York City. And while we were in New York, so we've been in DC and now we're in Boston, then we're in New York City. While we're in New York, I downshifted to part-time at the Container Store to make it a little more uncomfortable to work there financially so that I would hustle a little harder. And I definitely did that. In fact, I hung on to my job at the Container Store for 2 reasons. 1, the people, and 2, the discount, 40% off. It was pretty stellar. So let's see. After I finally left the Container Store, my business had grown to a point that I was doing pretty well, but I had like 12, 13, 14, 15 different offers that people could buy from me. They could buy this ebook, or they could buy this program, or they could be in this group program, or they could do this one-on-one coaching package, or they could do this one-off coaching package, or this afternoon coaching package. And I tried just about everything there possibly is to package my expertise, but I wasn't really packaging what I wanted to teach. I was packaging what people told me they wanted to learn. I was one of those people that was always surveying everybody to hear what they wanted, instead of really trusting that I knew what they needed and figuring out how to position that so that they bought what they want and they get what they need. Took a lot of years of that. If you're out there listening to me going, yeah, that's me, and you have like 22 offers and you're confused why none of them are selling really well, it's because, I felt like I was the Walmart of coaching. Like you could go to any different department. I got you covered. Business coaching, I can do that. Inner critic coaching, sure, we can do that. That's what I really want to do, but I'll do a little bit of that, and I'll do a little bit of this, and a little bit of this, and a little bit of this. And so I had this array, this buffet of things that people could do. Nobody knew what the heck I was about. I didn't have a focus. And I knew this was a problem. And so I wanted to write a book. I wanted to write a book that would get me really focused and let me go deeper into a topic and dive right in. And it wasn't this book. This is not the book I wanted to write. I wanted to write a book on the confidence continuum, which is this other thing that I created that I'm very proud of. It's a goal setting process. We still use it in Get Out of Your Own Way. I'm extraordinarily proud of building that. It's very positive and forward moving and all the things a coach should do, right? Like it's very coachy. But I was smart enough to shut up and listen to the people around me who loved me and got me and understood the power of Hilda. And that Hilda really is the entry point for all the things I want to talk about. And nothing lights me up more than talking about Hilda, but the idea of saying, I'm going to be known as the inner critic expert. I'm going to be known as this person who talks about that voice in your head who tells you suck all day. Like, the idea of that just felt asinine to me. That's so negative and not very Jennie. I can't do that. There's no way, right? I felt really weird about that. And so I pushed that idea aside for, 6 or 8 months. I kept saying, no. I'm writing the book on the confidence continuum. It's going to be called Astonish Yourself. It's going to be very positive. It's going to be very coachy. It's going to be very much the same as what everybody else writes about. But I didn't. I finally yielded and I said, okay, let me write a flippin' outline of the book Hilda and see if there's even enough there. And the rest is history. I mean, now I've built an entire career, an entire business model off of one word with 5 letters named Hilda. My entire world, everything I talk about all the time, my baby, is this chick named Hilda. And so now, if you want to work with me, your options are 2 things. You can buy my book and do it yourself, or you can work with me and get out of your own way and do it with me. And, Hilda is a good, like the book itself is a good primer. It's I'm very proud of it. I feel like it's a book with some depth and some layers to it, but it's still a book. It's still a solo experience. And I wanted my Get Out of Your Own Way program to be really a master's degree in Hilda, if you will. Again, I'm nerdy. I liked school. And I'd been through a couple courses and programs that were basically somebody reading their book to me. You know what I mean? Have you ever done that where you're like, oh my God, I love this guy's book, so I'm going to sign up for his program because that'll be great. So here's $5,000 for his program, where he basically reads his book to me. That's cute. No, that's not what we're doing. I have zero interest in that. And so I strive to make my program, the Get Out of Your Own Way program, the best program it could be. And I'm constantly making it better instead of coming up with a new program or product or service that somebody else can buy. And that's been very game-changing for me. I'm certainly not saying that's how everybody should be and how they should roll. Everybody's got different whatever. But for me, that's been a huge lever, because now what I can do is spend time, like today, for example, and Get Out of Your Own Way, we had a meeting. We're supposed to do the Unstuck and Unstoppable process, but nobody needed to. So we just had a mastermind call where we, kind of talked about whatever was going on with each individual and then related to one another. And it was incredible. We talked about productivity, and we all came up with this really solid action plan for producing really great work without getting stuck in our head and without letting Hilda in there. And then we also talked about family stuff, and we talked about just really deep, layered, challenging topics that there's no other place I've ever found where you can have those kinds of discussions with people who get it, And so what I love about my work now, even though I zoomed in and focused on one thing, a chick with 5 letters to her name, that's the only thing I do. What we talk about is so multifaceted, and we get to do, again, that we is intentional. We get to do so much and really grow as business people, as business owners, as entrepreneurs, as thought leaders, but more importantly, as humans and people enjoying their one big spin around the big blue marble. So, yeah, anyway, this is extraordinarily uncomfortable, but one of the things I have realized is that you join these Facebook groups, everybody joins these Facebook groups. I'm a member of umpteen of them. And you go in there and you try to show up, and you're following some kind of strategy where every 6th day you're going to ask something, you're going to post something, and this is not the place for that. I'm certainly going to give you opportunities to promote to each other because I want you to practice promoting and putting yourself out there. But this is a place for you to really kind of carve out a nook in your life where we're going to get you, we're going to understand you. And you're going to be able to talk about things that you can't really say to many other people. And hopefully you're going to read questions and read comments and watch lives and get a sense of, wow, I'm learning so much about myself just by seeing this person share and be coached and be shoved and be challenged by me and by each other. And then eventually warm yourself up to saying, okay, I'm ready to be pushed and shoved and challenged as well. I'm ready to really take my business from where it's at to the next level. And I might not know how. Like maybe you'll be in a place where it's like, I don't know how I'm going to get from here to here. But what I do know is all of this noise in my head, all of this baggage that I'm carrying into my business is doing me no good. And all of these habits I've been sitting on and doing over and over again and convincing myself that that's just the way I am and that's how it's going to be isn't true anymore. I don't know how to replace it. I don't know what to do with it, but I want to do something about it. That's all you need to be. That's exactly where you need to be. One of the people who joined the group early was reading through my who, what, when, where, and why document. I gotta fix that. I promise I'll fix that. And she said something like, "Oh, there's this line in there where it says you're probably doing all this work," and she's like, "That's not me. Should I opt out? Maybe I don't belong here because I feel like I'm doing nothing. I'm so scared. I'm paralyzed." I'm totally paraphrasing, by the way, but she was like paralyzed and unable to make any forward progress, any movement whatsoever, because she didn't know what she wanted, and she's still taking in all this information from all the gurus, and she hasn't had a place where she can just stop and pause and recognize all the thoughts that are flying through her head and how they're making her feel and how they're inhibiting her actions, how Hilda is holding her ambitions hostage. And when I said, "No, you're in the perfect place. You have found home," she agreed with me. I'm so grateful to say. As you guys are coming in here and you're getting to know me and you're getting to know each other, I really want this to be a place that you want to be. You don't want to be here if you're listening to me going, "Oh gosh, Coach Jennie's annoying. She's not for me. She's too fat. She's too gay. She's too this. She's too whatever." See ya. Don't let the door hit you. I have no issue with that. And that's not me being flippant or rude. There's tons of other people that could support you. But if you're here and you're thinking, wait, this chick is real. This space is different. This experience is not sell, buy my thing. But wait, there's more. There's none of that crap. If you realize that without that, you're going to have to show up and really face it, then face yourself and face facts, then you're in the right place. There's a comment here from Monica. She says, "I say things in our group that I've never said to other people. Our group talks are so vital for my growth, and I know I'm not alone in that statement." Thank you, Monica. Monica's in Get Out of Your Own Way right now, and that means a lot to me because that's why I do what I do. And I feel like I've babbled on for a long time, but it's just really important to me that you feel like you've gotten to know me. So what questions do you have? I mean, the other things about me that are kind of quirky and goofy is, I've been married to the same woman for a very long time. We've been together since 1997. Yeah. And, we got married in 2003, legally in 2009, because that's how it rolls. And we live in Los Angeles now because after 6 years in New York, we decided to collect yet another hometown. My wife is a assistant principal at a elementary school here in Los Angeles. I work out of our 600 square foot apartment. I'm a minimalist. I'm obsessed with Barbara Streisand. I'm a Mac, not a PC. I think smoking is repugnant. I'm allergic to peanuts. I really like Green Day and Barbara Streisand, and I love the fact that they have nothing to do with one another. I'm trying to become a YouTuber, and nope, not trying to. I'm becoming a YouTuber and working on that. I'm looking for speaking opportunities all over the country to talk about Hilda, and I'm on a mission to make Hilda a household name. So those are some things about me, and I want you to feel like you can really get to know me. I am that girl, and my life ain't perfect. Right? My life is not perfect. I have major challenges with family dynamics for my extended family, and I still struggle to work on my business. And I'm willing to share those things with you, not to say, look, I'm a hot mess too, but to let you know that there's a real human on this side of the coaching relationship. And I want you to be able to really face everything. The last thing I would share with you, which is sort of sounds like a joke, but it's totally real. I get all of my coaching brilliance. It truly is inspired by two things, The Golden Girls and Breaking Bad. So if you're at all a pop culture girl, you will totally get that. I think that's everything. Oh, Okay, so here it is, my B- attempt at introducing you to myself, bad hair day and all, because I just wanted you, it's just really important to me that you feel like this is the place you want to be. So please watch this video, leave comments, ask questions early and often. Let me know how I can really push you and help you get to that next level. When you're ready, reach out to me or join one of the calls. I'm going to give you ample opportunities to really get to know me and to decide whether or not you're ready to get out of your own way. But here's the thing. Nobody's ever really ready to get out of their own way. That's kind of the point. When you're just enough already, you're just ready to be done with the self-sabotage. I'm here and I'm ready to serve. Thank you so much for listening. I love all of you. Thank you for being part of this new community. I'll see you soon. Bye, guys.